call them 4 things that we mark. Number 1 is the format. We are interested with the format. And if you can see that the key areas tested, ndizo tunaangalia hapo. And so in that format thing, we are saying the candidate should be able to communicate using the correct format. So the examiner is checking, do you know the format of that functional writing, the particular functional writing that you're dealing with? For example, if you're doing a letter, do you know the format for the letter? What is this? Hii kitu yenye iko like a shell, like hii ni nyumba, like the house of the writing. Hii yenye iko standard, haibadiliki. The content huko ndani inabadilika. The message may be different because maybe you're even sending it to a different person. But the format means that every letter must have an address, the receivers and the senders. It must have a salutation. It must have this. It must have a signing off. That is what we call the format. And so therefore, are you able to communicate using the correct format? Are you able to respond correctly to the items being asked in the question? What does that mean? Do you answer the question correctly? The question is asking, for example, you're writing a letter to your friend, inviting them to a birthday party. Sasa wewe, badala ya kuandika a letter to your friend, inviting them to a birthday party, umeandika barua asking them, how is the holiday? How are you doing? And so on. So wewe, badala ya answer the questions correctly, you have done well. The format is okay. But the content, whatever you are writing, is not okay. So the question is, are you able to respond correctly to the items asked in the question? And that's where I said, after the F, the format, F for format, we have C for content. So we'll give you marks for the content. And the next thing is candidates' ability to communicate fluently and effortlessly. That's what we call language. How is your language? And we said when you're marking functional writings, we call that L. That is for language. And we said language carries many marks. And therefore, L is very, very important. How many? We will talk about it later on. But the L checks your ability to communicate fluently and effortlessly. And finally, we have the candidate's ability to use the correct tone. I think we said that earlier. We said that when you communicate using different functional writings, we use different tones. For example, if you're writing an apology letter, the tone that you use for an apology letter is very different from the one that you use when you're doing an informal letter to your friend, checking on how they are doing and inviting them to a birthday party or something like that. So therefore, how do we pick, like just like the way when you go to a burial ceremony and when you go to a wedding, the words you use, the mood, everything that we see, the tone, that all that. I hope you get what I mean. So the examiner is interested in those 4 things as far as functional writings are concerned. Are you comfortable with the format? Are you comfortable with the content? Are you comfortable with the language? Are you comfortable with the tone? Ukimaster those 4, unajiuliza format. Ukisikia functional writing, umesikia sijui unafaa kuandika what? For example, what? Give me one of the functional writings that you think for you is that gives you problems. Give me one. Just type for me one of the functional writings. For those of us, I know most of us are familiar with it. Give me 2. Give me 2 functional writings. Then unasema, by the way, these 2 functional writings hunisumbua. Let me see what you have in mind. You're probably, even as I give my examples, I can use them to give examples. Please write for me on the chat. All right, thank you. James, you're saying speech. Very good. And the good news is, James, that you will not have speech and minutes coming up in the coming exam. That one I can tell you for sure. You will not have them. Let me hear from the others. Okay. Let me hear from the others, please. Which is these two items that you think for you are zinasumbua? Ni gani zingine? Please tell me very fast. So that as I give examples of the ones that give you problems. Mhm. Haraka haraka. Baraka, but this is a mistake. Sorry. Baraka. Can you hear me now? Hello, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for feedback. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fine. All right. So I was asking you about the functional writings that you know and the ones that give you problems. And I've had before I got a disconnect. I had from I had had somebody talk about the speech, that is James, speech and minutes and synopsis. I don't know whether somebody else said something. Tumaini had seen you talk about poetry. Now, Tumaini, I had asked about the functional writing zenye tunaangalia sahi za question 1 eh? That's what I had asked. Maybe you misunderstood my question. I hope we are clear on that. On the question I had asked. So on the functional writings, and remember, I gave you a list of all the functional writings that we have in Form 1. And so therefore we have what? Let me see if I can get my document again. We talk about the tone, therefore that's what I was at. When you're using different items, for example, you're doing a minute and you're doing a speech, you'll use different tones. How you say it will be very different. So I want to look at that other point. Yes, even a memo. Very good. Yeah, keep writing them. I would want to see what your thoughts are. Very good. So I won't talk about that because that I've already covered. And so I'll move on to the next sharing. Due to Songe, I really want us to cover much today. I hope I don't get those kind of issues again. Let me see. The next slide I want us to look at is on the tips. Allow me, this is a bit of the things we had gone through that day. And I hope you can see my screen well. I hope you can read it well. Though I may need to zoom a bit. I don't know whether I'm growing old. I'm not able to see very small handwritings. And so I hope you can read with me. Let me zoom a bit. I'll keep playing with it so that we all can read together. Are you able to read? Jesus. Okay. Inasumbua. Okay. Tutakaa hivi venye unataka. From there, I hope you can read. You can read it from there. Let me just talk about the tips very fast. Kuna zenye sita explain. Kuna zenye sita explain. The reason why sita explain, some of them are very self-explanatory. Now, ukisoma for yourself, you'll be able to understand. The reason why I want to go through them is so that just in case I come across something that needs explanation, nita explain. Ukisikia sija explain, ni kumaanisha in my head I'm thinking it's easy. But wewe ukiona hiyo point madam ameiskip na mimi nilikuwa naona kama ni important, please feel free to write me a message hapo chini kwa chat. Uniulize uniulize mwalimu, there's a point uliacha, kindly share with me. I explain that point. Ama, you can even unmute. At some point, I'll give you an opportunity to ask a question. James, thank you for your kind words. I appreciate. All right, so I'll just read through. Ukisikia ka point, unasikia hiyo point sijaelewa, na unaona nimeipita, feel free to let me know. So when you're doing functional writings, I'm looking at it generally now. Number one, use simple and official language. That is must be a formal tone. Use simple and official language. Here tulisema uachane na mambo ya vocabularies na idiomatic expressions and wanting to sound very educated. Wachana na hiyo. You do not try to impress anybody as far as these questions on functional writings are concerned. Hizo mambo ya kuimpress watu na very good language, hizo ufanyie kwa imaginative composition. Uko tunataka hizo sana. When it comes to functional writings, uko hatutaki stories, hatutaki kuona venye unajua vocabulary na unajua mambo mingi. We just want to see you write simple official language. As much as possible, use the formal tone. It's only that maybe when you're using an informal letter, you can use a formal tone, but still, I mean, you can use an informal tone. But still, even in that informal tone, because hiyo barua unaandikia mwalimu aiangalie, you still need to be very careful. There's a sense of formality that is there. Kuna venye mushane unaweza chapia your friend, mkiongea one on one, ama ukimwandikia barua yenye inamfikia, yenye kama ni exam, hawezi mchapia your stories. Why? Because this is an exam. This is going to an examiner. This is going to your teacher to look at. So as much as it is an informal letter, there's a sense of formalness. Let me say formality that is there. There is no word like formalness. Formality that is there. Number two, use borderline frame. Use borderline frame. Let me say that all the functional writings, nobody will ever penalize you for putting a borderline. You know what is borderline? Ni hizi line ziko huku nje. The four of them, the square, not square. It can even be rectangle. Ina surround your functional writing. Hakuna barua hawezi, hakuna functional writing hawezi weka hiyo borderline. Why? Because even letters, even informal letters, ukiweka borderline, hakuna mtu atakupenalize for doing that. But if the reason why we encourage people to put, you can put borderline anywhere, there are some functional writings that if you don't put the borderline, you will be penalized. I hope you're together on that. You will lose some marks because of missing some. There are some that if you don't put the borderline, you will lose some marks. Whereas, even if you put a borderline on places that are not even necessary, like for example, in letters, in informal letters, nobody will penalize you. So we keep saying, kama hauko sure, kama hii document inahitaji borderline, weka tu, because nobody will punish you for that. Nobody will penalize you for that. So that's why we are saying, use borderline frame always. But kama uko sure, wachana tu nayo. Respond to items asked in the question. Very good. Do not create your own questions. Me, I see students do that and I get so annoyed. Yani umeulizwa kitu, lakini wewe umeamua ujisetie your own question. That you get something we call automatic deduction. AD, 4 marks. Automatic deduction. Why? Because you are telling us moshana yenye hakuna mtu amekuuliza. You have been asked this question and you have decided you will not answer this question, you will answer the other one. Now, you may actually, the beautiful thing about functional writing, unaweza kuwa umeulizwa mambo, for example, barua imekwambia umeambiwa uandike barua inviting your friend to a birthday party. Sasa na wewe ukaamua, you will write a letter giving what? Doing what? Ordering some books, like the letters of request, would decide instead of inviting your friend or your boss or somebody to a birthday party, you decide to do a letter of request. You are a manager in a company or something, and so you are making a request for this and these items. So the point is now where you didn't respond to the items asked in the question. And by the way, this is a big deal for most students. I see that even in our students, and I keep asking them, hii question ulitoa wapi? So what happens? Kwa format, utapata marks. Hakuna mtu atakupunish juu ya format. Format kama the addresses, nini ziko sawa, umesign off vizuri, hakuna mtu atakuuliza. But hapa kwa content, niliwaambia kuna F for format, C for content. Kwa content sasa hapo ndio utapatikana. Hapo kwa content, you will not get the marks for the content. And actually it's like if the case is so severe, you actually get an automatic deduction. Why? Because you didn't answer the question. So always, jiulize, nimeelewa swali, have I understood the question? The next point is elaborate the content, not merely state. Very good. Like remember we said, usiandike story mrefu. Nobody wants to hear stories that are turning page. You are turning the next page and the next one. Don't do that. Don't worry about my screen. I'm trying to enlarge it kidogo nikisoma, ndio tusome pamoja, alafu nikiachilia ina badala ya kukaa hivyo ina go back. So usione kama ni kucheza nacheza nayo, ni venye inakataa kukaa hapo ikiwa zoomed. But you can zoom from your end. By the way, you can zoom from your end. If you're using a phone, still kama unatumia laptop, you can zoom. But don't worry, I'll give you these notes later, immediately after this. And so, elaborate the point, not merely state. Wacha kukimbia sana. Don't be in a hurry. It's a whole 20 marks. It's a whole 12 marks. It's a whole 8 marks. Give it the attention it deserves. Me, I keep saying, afadhali ukuwe accused of writing more than being accused of not writing more. No? Because not writing more, you'll get penalized. You will lose something. You will miss something for not writing all that you need. Afadhali hata uandike mingi tukuulizange hii motion yote nani alikwambia uandike, we andika. But we keep saying elaborate your content, don't merely state. Ni kama venye we say in excerpts paper 2, ukiuliza what is the character trait of Professor Kimani, alafu useme he's caring, alafu iache hivyo. Okay, caring is funny. He's caring, alafu iache hivyo. You have not explained, you have not elaborated, you will not get a mark for it. So in English, it is important for you to know we are looking for elaboration. And then of course, write legibly. Let me say, unaona your point here, write legibly. Some of us, like me, my handwriting is horrible, by the way. My handwriting is not very interesting. But when it comes to a serious document, mimi huandika letter by letter. I write very keenly. Sitakangi mchezo. Kwa sababu I know, let me tell you, examiners, I told you me, I don't go for marking because I don't think I have the mental capacity to handle the pressure that is in the marking. But those people go through, yani wanamkanga sijui sangapi, wanalala sangapi, wanafaa kufanya, yani na ni conveyor belt kwenye unangojea umalize, huyo mwingine afanye the next question, huyo mwingine ana mark the next question. So hauna luxury ya kukaa na hiyo karatasi, by the way. So ile pressure inakuanga hapo. They have no time ya kujiuliza huyu mwanafunzi alikuwa anataka kusema nini. Huyu mwanafunzi hii ni A ama hii ni O ama hii ni U. They have no time. And actually, most of the students, the handwriting can actually make you fail. Well, mimi na my poor handwriting, hata mimi I can't stand bad handwritings. Now, you don't have to have a very beautiful, unajua kuna watu wako na beautiful handwritings. Si lazima ukuwe na beautiful handwriting. We are asking, can it be legible? Legible means inaweza someka, hata kama haikai very beautiful. Where can we be able to see this is the name BOY, this is a boy, haikai BOU, unajua, because Y hata haina hiyo kateli inateremka huko chini. So you must make sure ukiandika exam, wewe andika tu kama daktari huku ukituandikia tu vitu, lakini ikifika kwa exam you must be very careful about how you write, because hiyo you might be the brightest kid in the block, but let me tell you, if you write poorly, is a functional writings, not just functional writings, everything else you'll score very poorly, including the other subjects. Improve on your handwriting. Ikifika wakati wa exams, be keen, andika pole pole, letter by letter, make sure inasomeka, assuming someka is the right word. Madam Jane will correct me. The next point, let me read with you. I'm hoping you can see the entire thing. Is so annoying. Hey, okay, wacha njaribu kuisomea tu hapa. Tukisoma hivyo inasema, be informed on details, e.g. the function writings, what to include in the synopsis, a letter and notification of meetings, report, etc. Now, hiyo ni point nilikuwa nime-explain, ni kama format. Be informed on the details of functional writings. What exactly do you need in the format, in the content, hiyo ukuwe uko sure what you need to write. Usiende kugamble, usiende kufumble the ball ukiwa kwa exam room. The next thing, apply common sense, especially in application letters. Apply common sense, especially in application letters, requests, notices, title of report, clubs like drama, publishing companies, etc. Apply common sense. Kuna vitu mtu anaweza andika barua na ujiulize kwa nini, especially when you're doing letters. When you're doing letters and some of these things, we must see you that, you know, the common senses, mtu anaambiwa hautumii common sense, unaona kama ni matusi. The common senses are 5. I hear there are 6, can even be 6 and 7. The 5, can you make sure that even as you read, even after you finish writing, you are using your common sense? As in, hata mtu akiona kazi yenye umeandika, anaona huyu mtu alisoma swali, aka think through na akaandika, you know, because they internalize whatever they were expected to do. Mtu asiangalia anajiuliza nani aliandika hii kitu, ni kama hata hayuko sawa. So the next point is follow order of items such as the format of writing dictates. For example, if you're doing the report, and I think that is on the format. Venye format imesema kama ni report, unafaa kuanzia na introduction na title, unafaa kuanzia na title, then introduction, then sijui what. Hizo venye umeambiwa inafaa kufuatilia, hiyo ni on format. Make sure that you do that. And finally, use designations, not names. For example, the chairman, the patron, the secretary, etc., the deputy principal, the patron in attendance. For example, if you're doing the minutes, dear sir, dear madam, and so on. Use the designation. Designation is the title the person holds, you know, that office, that honor the person holds. Use that a lot, the chairperson, the patron, and so on. I hope that is clear. I won't ask you whether you have a question, because I want to finish on the penalties first. How do you get penalized? At what point do you get penalized? It's okay, Marietta. It's okay. Don't worry. Hata siwa engage sana, by the way. Nafanya lecture, sort of. Hata siwaulizi maswali sana, because nataka nimalize hii. Unajua nyinyi sitaki to waste a lot of, not wasting. I don't have to spend a lot of time now. Kuna mahali tutafika nianze kuwauliza maswali. Sasa tuko tu kwa introductions. Tukifika wakati wa maswali nitauliza. Na tutakosana sana mkikosa kuanswer. So for now, enjoy hearing my beautiful voice. So let's look at the penalties. Yeah, how do you get penalized when you're writing functional writings? Very, very important. Number 1, we have blatant irrelevance. Hiyo ndio nilisema unapata 0 ile unaandika the wrong thing, totally wrong thing. Hata nilikuwa nimekosea. I needed to explain about blatant irrelevance and minor irrelevancy. Let me explain that. Blatant irrelevancy is where umeambiwa uandike barua ya inviting you to somebody to a birthday party. Sasa wewe unaambiwa kuandika hata si barua umeandika kitu ingine totally different, hata haikaribii barua. So for example, you're writing a synopsis or a review of a different book from the one tested. For example, in the year 2011, tutaona, waliambiwa waandike synopsis. Ukaambiwa waandike synopsis of the Samaritan. Sasa we ukaamua Samaritan hauielewi vizuri, so hautaandika Samaritan, utaandika the fathers of nations. So what will happen? That is blatant irrelevance, as in clear being irrelevant. You get 0-0. Sawa sawa. Number 2, there's something we call minor irrelevance. Now, minor irrelevance ni kwenye unaandika, but at some point you lose the way. As in, ulikuwa almost there. Uko na idea, ni kama ulikuwa unataka, ni kama hautaki. Uko irrelevant, lakini it's not so bad. Kuna venye tu something. So we do an automatic deduction. That is AD. We call it AD. You do an automatic deduction of 4 marks. Okay? So, for example, this is where you even mixing up characters. You say in a book review or synopsis, one may mention a character who is in a different book, writing a review on a book that is already published. Wacha niache kuisongesha sana ndio uweze kusoma. Zoom it from your end. Yeah, so we are saying, when you talk about the relevance, we are saying you have been you've been asked, for example, using the issue of the synopsis, you've been asked to do a synopsis of the Samaritan. Sasa wewe umeamua to create a character in the Samaritan. You decided that there is a Fiona Mackenzie in the Samaritan. Now una insist. You bring in characters who are not even in even the issues unaongelelea. At some point kuna venye unatupa njia at some point, so you are irrelevant, you are totally out of the way, so you may get an automatic deduction. You lose 4 marks. You don't get 0-0, you lose 4 marks because kuna venye si out of the way completely ni kidogo. So please try, like we said in the first point, stick to the point, don't go so far away from it. Let me explain the next point. Mixed format, you get 2 points automatic deduction. That is, for example, when you're adding an informal letter that begins with Dear Anne, yes, with Dear Anne, the name of a person, with yours faithfully. Now, ebu tuelewe hapa vizuri. Kabisa, na hii point sijui nitarudia wapi. Because hata sijui kama ni walimu hatuambiangi vizuri. When you're writing a letter, for example, and you are writing to me, Mrs. Nganga, ama Teacher Martha. So, unanijua. I'm not a stranger to you. You know who you are addressing. So, uandike addresses zako mbili. Then, ukifika kwa salutation, uandike Dear Madam Martha, ama Dear Mrs. Nganga. Umeniita by name. Unanijua, tunajuana. Or Dear John, Dear Mercy, Dear whatever, Dear Reverend who, Dear something. You know them by their name. Pale chini, ukimalizia, when you are signing off, you don't say yours faithfully. You say yours sincerely. I hope we are clear on that. When you call somebody by name because you know them, pale kwa salutation, hapa chini, you don't say yours faithfully, you say yours sincerely because huyo mtu umemuaddress by name. Ukisema dear sir, stroke madam, pale chini ndio unaandika yours faithfully. Okay, let me hear feedback. Mumeelewa hiyo part? Because aki students una repeat na ni kama hawashikangi hiyo kitu. Wanaandika dear John, alafu pale chini unaandika yours faithfully. Ebu type yes kama umeelewa kenye nimesema hapo. Yours, dear John, pale chini unaandika yours sincerely. Dear sir, pale chini unaandika yours faithfully. Please tell me umepata hiyo point because mi sitaki kuona tukirudia hiyo makosa. I'm waiting for your feedback just to be sure tuko pamoja. Unajua hata siko sure kama tuko pamoja ama mmeenda kukula ugali mkaniacha hapa nikiongea peke yangu. Thank you Tumaini. All right, thank you. So, thank you. So that is what we are calling using the wrong format. Plus any other, you're using the wrong format. You get what? Mixed format. Mixed format is where you get an automatic deduction of 2 marks. You lose it. Thank you for your feedback. Then let me go to the next point. Using the wrong format, but including items asked for. Unaona? Uko na wrong format, but umeanswer the question. Like writing a notification of meeting instead of agenda. So kuna vile tu penalties tuko tu huko twingi tu zingine, maybe examiners are the ones who are very keen on this because wanajua. You don't worry how many marks are deducted. Just know that if you use the wrong format, even if whatever happens, you will be penalized for it. Let me not go into what is deducted, but kuna automatic deductions mingi sana zinakuja when you use the wrong thing. Then finally, denial of marks. Where do you get denied marks is where you're failing to use borderline where required. Like I said, there are some items that you must use borderline. For example, the notice lazima kukuwe na borderline. So for example, if you ask to do the notice, the advertisements, memos, all those, sometimes we don't have, we must, I don't know why we assume some of those items don't need borderlines, but like I said, for you to be sure, andika kila kitu. Ukiacha na ilikuwa inahitajika, then you get deducted, you lose marks. You actually lose marks because kuna marks that was awarded for the borderline. Sasa wewe hiyo mark hautapata. And finally, don't change the order while formatting. For example, if it's a report, you're writing a report, do not bring recommendations before you conclude, okay? If you're doing a report, remember that we have recommendations, recommendations, and then we are concluding, and then recommendations, and then introduction, and then findings, and then whatever. Please ensure that you allow the order of events to follow in that format. And I hope that is very, very clear for you. And so we have the memo, the email. We have the email, we have two. We start with from my email address is beautifulliterature@44 at gmail. So from pale juu uandike from beautiful literature whatever, lakini I'm sending to, so unaika uzo to colons, then unaandika the email address of the person you are receiving. Kama una interchange, badala ya kuanzia na from unaanzia na to then from, hapo sasa utakuwa penalized. So what we are saying, guys, is that there's a mark there. Both marks on format and content are denied. When you interchange that, for example, candidates must be keen on order in formatting. And I think on that, we will have covered whatever I would have wanted us to cover. So that is on the penalties, and that is on the tips that you need to have. I want to give you this opportunity to ask a question. If you have a question, something that you need to ask before we move on to the next thing. I'm happy we are on time. I'm happy we are doing well. I really wanted us to understand that. Please ask any question that something you'd want me to clarify. I would love to do that before I move on to the next item. Sawa, unajua ukikosa kuuliza swali, I keep asking myself, nimefundisha vizuri sana ama nikuelewa hatujaelewa kitu? But I want to hope ni hiyo ya tumeelewa. Sawa, if you have any question and you don't answer, please, you are failing yourself and you are failing me as well. Thank you. Okay, to be sincere with madam, I don't understand what you meant by borderline. Borderline, guy, nani atatuelezea? Ni unaona for example, ukiandika advertisement ama wacha niseme advertisement, kuna kale ka line kana amba ni draw ni share. Can somebody who can help us to explain? Kuna mtu anaelewa what is borderline? Ni ile document uko nayo uiweke a square, ikuwe inside a square or a rectangle. Karibu niseme rectangle. Ikuwe inside lines, huku kando kuna lines, 4 lines. Square ama rectangle surround. Sijui kama unaanda. Let me show you. Just remember, I have an example I wanted to share. The one we'll be looking at, hata sijui kwa nini na struggle na niko na documents iko hapa na borderlines mingi sana. The ones we are going to look at, let me share with you a document that has a borderline. No, this one. Bas. Good, Rotich. It is a frame. It is a it is a frame. Unaona hizo documents nimeshare. I hope you have seen them. The notes of thanks. Unaona hiyo dear sir, madam. Na kuna hiyo notes of congratulations. Tuko pamoja? Umeona? Hiyo Foursquare, hiyo frame. Aki jina frame ndio nilikuwa natafuta. Asante sana Rotich. Hiyo frame ndio borderline. Ukiangalia, let me share with you the other one. Let me share with you. Oh, where have I gone? Let me share with you. Let me share with you another one that will. I'm hoping that time will allow us to go through all this. But now that you've asked that question, it's good for me to answer it before I proceed. Now, unaona yenye nimeshare sahi, hiyo shopping list na parking list. Haina hiyo 4 squares pasi. Hiyo si 4 square, hiyo si borderline. It is part of the format, you know. Inafaa kukuwa na hizo columns. Are they columns or rows? Whatever. Hizo columns and rows. Inafaa kukuwa nazo. Sasa, ukicompare hii na hiyo ingine tumeona hiyo note of thanks, those are two different things. So we are saying there are some items like hizo notes of congratulations, notes of thanks, memo, hizo zote zinakuanga na hiyo borderline. Kuna zingine si lazima zikuwe nayo because it is not necessary. But tulisema, if you're not sure, weka borderline in everything, because nobody will penalize you for putting in borderline. James, umenielewa? I hope you have, eh? I'm going back to sharing my document. James, I'm waiting to hear from you. Umeelewa venye tumesema? All right. James, okay. James, I hope you're okay. Now, I wanted us in a minute, very, very fast. Hii hatukai sana hapa. Na hiyo document ni kama nilikata huko mwisho. Do I have a better document? I want us to look at what has been tested in the last few years. Are these few? Ile siku ingine niliwauliza mulifanya exams lini? Nikaona most of us are in this block. Yeah, 2007. Very few of us are not. Allow me to get you a better image. I hope I have a better one. Sorry. Tutafanya na hiyo, no problem. Just allow us to use that. Because actually what we need is just to be guided on what was tested. It's okay. Tutafanya na hiyo. All right, so let's have a look at that. Let me ask mtu mwenye anaweza tusomea. Aki, si nimeongea sana. Hata mimi wacha nisikie sauti zenu. Let's have somebody reading for us what was tested from 2006 to 2012. Tupate mtu mmoja kutusomea hapo from 2006 to 2012, alafu mwingine atusomee from 2013 to 2017, alafu nitawafungulia the next page. As we read these, ask yourself, kama ni mimi nimepewa hii exam saa hii, venye nilisema, uko na hiyo format in your head, ama hiyo unasema, hiyo hata singejua what to do, hiyo siko sure, hiyo hata sijawahi sikia, hiyo niko sawa kidogo, hiyo niko sawa kabisa. Ask yourself, ni gani niko sawa hapa, ni gani siko sawa, because this is a very high possibility of them being repeated. We'll also look. I think you'll zoom from your end. Unaona nikizoom hivyo, my phone nikizoom itawasumbua kila mtu, so try to zoom from your end. Najua huko mwisho kuna mahali haionekani. Even if you're using a laptop, try and zoom. Nikizoom nitawasumbua kila mtu. Just try and zoom from your end. I hope it's okay from your end. Is there anybody who is in a position to read for us?
I can.
Yes, please do. Go ahead.
A report after a visit to a national park indicating accomplishments Accomplishments, problems, and cautionary measures to take. I hope I've read that right because I cannot see the last bit after accomplishment.
Ignore the last part. Weenda ukijijazia blank spaces because ni kama nilikata vibaya.
Okay. A letter to a publisher requesting for a publication of a book. I don't know what that is. Title, author, content in brief, and reasons as to why the book should. The last part I can't see. Okay, 2008A. A notice of a meeting. B. Agenda to be attached to the notice. 2009. A letter of inquiry concerning a job as a volunteer worker. 2010. A speech to deliver during a lunch for a club. 2011. A notice inviting schools to attend performance of a set book. B. A synopsis. And then 2012. An application letter in response to the advertisement. B. CV to accompany the advert.
Thank you very much. Josephine, you wanted to read for us 2013?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I noticed 2013 a notice of a missing child, 10 marks, and B, a thank you note, 10 marks. 2014 a letter a letter to a schoolmate thanking him or her for the invitation. 2015 minutes. 2016 a letter of application for a job. B, a CV to accompany a letter. And 2017 speech having been a former drug addict and recovered from I can see that part. Center being keen on protocol. I can't see that bit.
It's okay. It's okay. Actually, you have read very well. The
Thank-
last part you did is recovered from a rehabilitation center.
Okay.
Be keen in protocol. I think that's okay. Let me share the other one for 2018 so that we can have a look at it, the general view of all of them. Give me a minute. Sorry, not that one. All right. Just finish reading for us. From 2018, 2018 up to 2023. Josephine, are you there?
Sorry.
It's okay.
2018, a letter to the principal asking for formal permission. 2019, a friendly letter persuading him or her to join your new school. 2020, is it? 2020, letter of application for a suitably qualified, experienced, what is that?
Enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic what a coach. And 2021, investigate
Investigative reports.
investigative report on the cause of decline in students participate. What is
Participation.
participation?
Participation in schools, whatever.
2022 speech, 2023 personal journal, prediction.
Wachana na predictions kwanza. All right. So, Sawa, you can mute you from your end.
Yeah.
Josephine, James, and And Domi, please mute. Sawa, thank you. And by the way, today I'm using my son's account. That's why unaona najiita Andrew Baraka. Yeah, because I'm using my phone to record. On Monday, when I was using my phone, there was a problem. So that's why I'm under Andrew Baraka. You might wonder what's the problem. All right. So I wanted us to have a look at all those things that have been tested. When I send you the notes, I would want you to keenly look at what has been tested. Now, hapo chini, we add 2024, we did minutes. 2024, we did minutes, please add. Then 2025, wenye walifanya 2025, tulifanya nini? Acha tusikie kama tunakumbuka.
Speech.
Yes,
Speech.
thank you. We did a speech. Yes, thank you. We did a speech. Now, I would want you to nini. Can you see that a speech was done in 2022 and it was repeated in 2025? Okay. Now, you also can see that letters, they're okay. Sorry. Seems like my net got messed up. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can be heard now.
All right. Sorry about that. Now, I wanted to mention, by the way, and I like communicating very clearly from day one, because I know that there are some places where where people handle their adult learners centers, either the private candidates, and they promise that by the time unamaliza exams, I will make an arrangement for you, nitakusaidia. Don't worry, exam usishtuke, I will sort you out. And I've had stories, and I've had people make promises to students. Now, this is the promise I am making you, that I have nothing to offer you. As far as leakage is concerned, I have nothing to offer you as far as predictions are concerned. The only thing I can do for you is to prepare you like I am doing, encourage you all the way, cheer you on, support you, sacrifice my time, sacrifice my resources to support you. But leakage, hata sijuangi inatokanga wapi. I don't even know where it comes from. And even if I knew, the last thing I would ever want any student to do, the only student that I would be very comfortable with either leakage in their hands ni student mwenye anapatanga A-. Student mwenye ako na A- na lowest B+, huyo hata akipata leakage itamsaidia. The rest of us wenye tuko B whatever, most of the times I can tell you leakage itakumes kabisa kabisa kabisa. Leakage will distract you, by the end of the day there is a very high chance of scoring worse that you ever scored if you didn't have any opportunity of interacting with leakage. That is what my experience says from the year 2007 when I had my first examination class. And those are not few years. I can tell you accumulated evidence that anytime you give students leakage, because most of the times that leakage is never true. Most 90% of that leakage is never true. And we'll talk about this later, but I can tell you, mimi leakage sijui mambo ya leakage. The only thing I know is to prepare students for the exam, and I give it my best. Number 2, easy predictions. The only predictions I can tell you, unaona venye nakwambia, last year walitest speech. Ni ngumu warudie speech, na pia ni ngumu kiasi tu warudie minutes, ni ngumu. But unaona walitest 2022 wakatest speech, na 2025 wakatest speech. Anything is possible. So it's the only thing I can give you. That is the highest of predictions I can tell you. But mi venye nasema, prepare for everything. Prepare for anything. Usiseme wacha hii na hii sitaguza kwa sababu it can come. Like personal journal. We were taken by shock. Who even have thought that NEC can bring... What is even personal journal, first of all? Who even thought about personal journal? Me, I had never even thought wanaweza leta personal journal. Sasa mimi niko hapo nikichosha nikikwambia we prepare for synopsis, book review, alafu ukuta umekuletea shopping list. Na ukwambia hiyo shopping list uitume na email to a friend. Let me tell you, you will hate me for the rest of your life. And me, I don't want to be hated by you because of a good reason. Afadhali uni hate for no reason. Hiyo nitahandle. So kindly, I want to ask you to go through that list of what has been tested so far, and let it even be just an opportunity for you to revise. Even as I give you questions on functional writing, let that whatever just give you a place for revision. But let me tell you, one of the predictions I comfortably give, I always encourage students to prepare for a letter. Prepare for letters, because letters are so common. Wewe jua how to write letters, because letters kuna barua mingi sana, formal, informal, of inquiry, of invitation, of request. There are so many letters. So you may be brought, and by the way, if you look at that list, utaona barua ni mingi sana. Like they can do letters zikiwa zimefuatana. Letters are the only thing they shamelessly repeat this year plus the next year and the next year. That one they have no problem. So kama unataka kwanza kusomea functional writings, make sure uko sawa na format, na content, na language ya letters. Hizo zingine sasa uanze kupambana nazo. So, and I wish you well. I wish you grace, even as you look at all those things. Now, let's go on. Unless you have a question, like I said, if you have a question, feel free. Feel free to type it down there. I will be answering it. I'm looking for the next sharing. I hope it's this one. Good. Hii tulikuwa tumecover. Please note, this is covered. So sita explain. But let me just go through it because I'm going through my notes. Ndio, nikikupe, hautashangaa what it was. I'm going through them so that when you read them for yourself, uta understand. Number 1, hii tulikuwa tumepitia, how to handle a question on functional writings. Tukasema focus on format. Format carries 5 to 6 marks. Focus on content. Content sometimes carries 7 marks. Focus on language. Language, like I said, carries a whole 8 marks. Sometimes naonaga kama hiyo inakuanga wana overdo, lakini ni sawa tu. Points to remember in format layout. Please note this, it is important. Let me zoom out kidogo because I can't see so clearly. I hope you can see. They are saying, if it is a letter, is it formal or informal? That is a good question to answer. Is it a formal or informal? Number 2, all formal letters end with yours faithfully, the signature, and your name. Let me see that again. And your name. Oh my goodness. What is that? Sijui hiyo but tu ni nini? What is that I wrote there? Okay. I will confirm what that is. I think I'll need to get you better notes. Hizi nikiwatumia hivi zitawasumbua. I'll get you better notes. Maybe I'll get them from my laptop so that it's easy for me to send you a better document. Yeah, don't worry. I'll not send you these screenshots. I'll get you a better document via laptop so that I can edit them properly. But we are saying, in all formal letters, do you end with yours faithfully, a signature, and your name? I think we meant by name, but not one name, but two. That is what I'm sure that is what it meant. So yours faithfully, your signature, and then the name. Two names. You give two names. Don't say yours faithfully, you sign, and then you write Martha. It is Martha Nganga. Are we together on that? The other thing, and remember, we also talked about yours yours nene, yours and I think that has been mentioned hapo chini. Yours sincerely. Remember, we talked about yours sincerely. All right. Then when writer's address should not have any interchanged items. I think we said that. But when you're writing the addresses, no, we didn't say. I am saying it now. When you're writing the address, you don't interchange. Usianzie na PO box, then date, una interchange the date and the PO box. I remember there are some times, and I hope you don't do that. Pale juu tulikuwa tunazoea, students walikuwa nazoea sana kuandika your name. Even us, by the way, when you are growing up. Even now when I see adults, sisi watu wakubwa tu, even teachers sometimes, ukiandika barua unaanzia barua with Martha Nganga, PO box, unaandika. You don't write your name pale juu. You don't write the name pale juu, and you don't interchange the date, the whatever. They must follow in that order. Why don't you write your name pale juu? Because pale chini, when you're signing off, umeandika yours faithfully, signature, Martha Nganga. That means you are writing your name 2 times. So you shouldn't write your name pale juu. Ukiandika, you'll be penalized for that, okay? So we are saying, when you're writing the writer's address, usi-interchange. If you do so, you will lose the whole mark for the whole address. Auta lose ka mark tu ya hiyo ume-interchange, uta mess up everything. Then we are saying, if block, use up to the end. Let me explain this. Nowadays, we are encouraging people to use the block format. Unajua block format ni gani? I hope I have a document here. I have something here with a block format. When you're looking at the examples, I hope we'll come across a block format. Ni ile, everything inaanzia on the left margin. Is that left or right? Right yako ni gani? Huku mwisho kwenye tunaanziaga kuandika, that is left. Ndio? Left. Ni left. Hii kwenye huku mwisho kwenye tunaanzianga kuandika, hata watu left-handed wanaanzianga hapo. Left. Everything begins at the left. Address ya receiver, ya sender, ya receiver, date, dear sir, reference, yours faithfully, zote zimepangana hapo kwa left. That is what we call the format, the block format. And nowadays we're encouraging people to use the block. Hiyo ingine ni ile idented, we call it idented. Not even idented. No, it is not idented. Ni ile yenye address iko on the right. Kuna address iko pale juu on the right. Na hii ingine ya receiver iko on the left. So those are the two different. But if block, we are saying, if block, use that to the end. Usimix. Ati sasa una mix hiyo ya right and left and then una mix huko katikati. Kama ni block, unatumia block throughout. We are also saying salutation and re should not be interchanged. Yes, because we do that a lot. Unaona mtu ameanzika re. And by the way, it is re, not ref. Not ref, Na sijui kama ni Kiswahili mnafanyanga ref. No, hata si Kiswahili. Kiswahili ya mwandikangi ref. Hii ref mnatuanga wapi? It is re. colon, and then you do your title. So not ref, but it comes after. You always begin with dear sir, stroke madam, or dear madam, whatever, dear John, whatever you're writing, then re. Si kuanzia na re, alafu dear, si hata inakaa funny. Ukiangalia unaona iko funny. Yeah, don't interchange. Then note carefully when you use dear sir, stroke madam, Dear sir or madam. Sasa hapo ni nini na imekatika? My goodness. When you use dear sir stroke madam or dear sir or okay. I don't know what is there. Nitaangalia the other document that nilitoa screenshot. When I send you the document, utaangalia ni nini tulikata hapo. My head is refusing to think. Hata sitaki kufikiria sana. The last point is begin with writer's address, the recipient, and then the recipient. The sender's address ndio inaanzia always. Uki-interchange, you will not get a mark. You will not get a mark. I hope that point is clear. In content, that is, we're talking about letters, kwa format. In the content section, let the details be derived from the question. Always, I think we said that earlier. Jibu swali. Wacha kupeana mshane yako. Jibu tu swali venye umeulizwa. Let the content in the content in the content. The content in the body be instructed or be guided by the question. If you answer the question that is not asked, you will get automatic deduction or upate 0 irrelevance for complete irrelevance. So time, date, venue, qualification, all those things. Utaangalia what is needed. Finally, we have the marks for the language. Yes, 7 to 8, 5 to 6, whatever. I want to explain that. Umenotice A, 7 to 8, B, 5 to 6, C, 3 to 4, D, 1 to 2. I want to explain that. Give me a minute. Let me use this diagram to explain. Oh, nyinyi mliamua mtasoma. Be ready to read. Be ready to read. Is this what I was looking for? Oh no. Not that one. Give me a minute. Hiyo haijafuatana vizuri. There's something I'm missing out. Kuna kitu na miss hiyo ya language. I think I didn't do a screenshot on that. Na nikienda kwenda kwa hiyo document itanisumbua. Maybe just give me a minute. I see if I'll be able to see it. Because that part for the language is important. Give me a minute. Nione kama nitaipata tu haraka haraka. See, what is that I missed out? Give me a minute. Oh, okay. Okay. Tuko sawa. Tuko sawa. There's something I needed to explain about the AB 5 to 6, whatever, hizo. Wachana nazo. I don't think they're important for now. The most important thing for you to note, nimenote hizo zilikuwa gani. Wachana nazo. Now, I want you to note that as we wind up, tunamalizia hii section, ndio tuingie tu. I just want us to look at a few samples. But before we do that, kwa language, please note that no candidate scores a 0 in language. By the way, in functional writing, hawezi pata 0. The same way, kwa essay writing, hawezi pata 0. Because language must always be awarded a mark, hata kama ni moja. By the way, hata ukiandika madhogodhanio, as in umeandika tu story zako tu, umeandika tu vitu hata hazieleweki, language you must always get at least 1. Okay? So, yeah. So, no candidate scores 0 in language. It's not allowed. Because even the nonsense you wrote it in language. Whatever language it was. Yeah, kuna language ulitumia. So you can never get 0. So that's consoling. That is very nice. The other one is always appreciate the attempt. We always, when you're doing the whatever, it's because of the examiner says there is no way huyu mwanafunzi aliandika hizo vitu zote alafu umpe 0, kumwambia hakuna kitu ameandika kitu hata kama ni vitu hazieleweki, amejaribu. Tone of the language must be formal or informal. Hiyo tumesema the formal or passive voice hiyo hatutaongea juu yake sahi, because the passive voice ni ile tunaongea juu ya minutes. Ukiandika minutes, use the passive voice. It was agreed, it was decided, it was what, it was. You don't say the chairman said, the lady, the matron said, the matron decided, the who commented, the parent. You don't say the doer of the action, you say the action that was done. So in language, when you're dealing with some things like minutes, you don't use the active voice, you use the passive voice, where you are interested in the doer of the action. I mean, where you're interested in the action that was done, instead of the active voice, where you're interested in the doer of the action. Hapo usijali, kuna watu najua watapotea kiasi, lakini usijali. Tukisoma grammar, tukifanya questions on grammar, tutapitia active and passive voice. But what we are saying is the passive voice is the one that we use for language when you're dealing with some of the writings, like the minutes. And finally, the grammar. This is important. Grammar, one of the issues we check in language is your grammar, the tenses, the punctuation, the agreement, subject-verb agreement, the sentence construction, the sentence structure, the spelling, legibility. Hata hapa handwritings ndio inakujia So venye umeandika hiyo grama yako kwa hiyo barua will influence whether you'll get the 8 ama you'll get 3 marks. Again, also paragraphing and handwriting. All those things will determine how much you score as far as the language is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned, that is a good, those are good tips on functional writings. And I can promise you, I will not go back to those things this year. So wenye hawaingii these free lessons, these 2 weeks, waambiwe by the way next week, the other week, tukiendelea kusoma, wacha sisemi kuanza, tutaendelea from here, we'll move on. Hatutarudi nyuma tuseme sasa tunaanzia fresh. Sisi tumeshaanza na tunaenda hivi mpaka Oktoba. So sasa mimi hii story ya functional writing sitarudia tena, especially what I've just shared. Now, the one thing I want us to do now going forward, number one, very, very quickly, naona tuko na 40 minutes and I hope nobody ameenda kukula ugali akaniacha hapa nikiongea. I want us to very quickly look at a few examples. Few examples. Na hatutakaa huku sana kwa sababu most of these things are things that you know. But now, I want us, hii ni nini nilifanya vibaya? Hizi screenshots. Ay. Nimekata vitu mingi sana. Let me do this. Let me give you 2 minutes. Do I give you 2? I'll give you 3 minutes. Nichukue 3 minutes. I do other screenshots for these questions because naona ninakata vitu very, very important. Hii swali hata tutaelewa ilikuwa inamaanisha nini kama ninakata vitu hivyo. Allow me to do some few screenshots for the questions that we are going to look at, badala hizi zenye tuna guess what is written. So the next 30 minutes tutaangalia those samples. But don't worry, you'll have the notes, utaziprint ama utaziangalia vizuri mockingly. Nataka tupitie tu. So give me a minute. You also have around 3 minutes break. Yeah, we'll be back at 9:20. Let's come back at 9:30. 9:30. Let's give it around 8 minutes. Ndio pia niweze kubreathe. Unajua nimeshinda nikiongelesha wazazi nikiwapea uniform. Tukiulizana kwa nini hii skirt ni dogo, alafu nikuja hapa niwaongeleshe for 2 hours straight. It is not even fair. So give me 8 minutes. We'll be back at 9:30. Haya, okay. As we wait for our 9:30, you can be looking at that question. I think that's a better view now. Be looking at that. Let's have volunteers. I would want us to have volunteers. We have around 4 samples to read. Tukuwe na volunteers watatusomea the questions. Hi. Tukuwe na volunteers. Anybody to volunteer? We have 4 samples, so I need 4 people. Wenye unaweza tusomea, unasoma and you read through the answer. Hatutakaa sana kwa hizi vitu. Ni kupitia tu just to refresh our memory, and then after that nitawapea kazi. Today I'll give you questions to answer. Anybody? Anybody would want to read for us? Sijui kwa nini my messages haziload. Mkiangalia kwa chat mnaona messages zenu? Okay, usiandike kwa message because hata my chats sioni, nafinya chats lakini ina nini, inasema tu loading. Karibu nijiulize kwani the internet iko na issue tu kwa messages. Anyway, whoever wants to read, just read for us because I can't see what you have umeandika kwa chat. I hope itafunguka. Anybody just read for us?
You are the chairperson of the creative writing club in your school. The club would like assistance in publishing the winning entry in a recent competition. Write a letter to a publisher asking them to consider the book for publication. Remember to write through the head teacher. In your letter, include the following: the title of the book and the name of the author, a brief description of what the book is about, why it is important for the book to be published. Format: NB. 1. Must be a formal letter. 2. Remember forwarding address. 3. Reference, topics or subject. 4. Body. 5. Closure. 6. Signature, name of the writer. 7. Designation. A moment. Body must have title, name of the author, synopsis of winning entry books, appeal for publication, a formal request to publication.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate that good reading. Yes. Now, I want to just say this in passing. Remember kuna vitu mingi sana tumeongea juu ya functional writings and the things to check. But now, if you look, allow me to read this question with you, pole pole, so that we understand. Remember we said there are 2 things that you need to, okay, quite a number of things. Number 1, you must know the format of the writing. Number 2, what is the content? Ni nini unafaa kuandika hapo kwa hiyo body, the content. And you must look like you're answering, you must answer the question be relevant when you so take time, scribble a few things before you write right on the side. Chukua kalamu, nimeulizwa to the guide on this have that stage, like the question on the side. Please jot down what is the question asking, what is the, so that when you easier for you to Well, I'm sorry about that. I hope tuko pamoja. You can hear me?
Yes.
All right. I think my net today inaamua kucheza games, but anyway, ni jioni. All right. So what was I even saying? Goodness, tell me how. What was I saying? Somebody remind me. We're talking about the letter. Eh? Yes, there was a letter we were reading. Wacha nitafute tena. Ikipotea tunapotea na kila kitu. Uh-huh. Oh, si huko. Let me get it. So we are saying that invitation, you must always scribble something on the side. Always scribble something on the side, because that scribbling, that whatever umeandika huko side will determine the number of marks you get. Kwani document iko wapi? Hebu give me a minute. Necessary. All right, sorry for that. There you go. Sometimes easy gadgets, I think, pia so choker. Okay, so sorry about that. Let's go back. So I was saying that you need to capture the question. Let me zoom it a bit for me to be able to read it well. So we are saying you are the chairman of a creative writing club in your school. The club would like now note the following. Number one, you are the chairman.
Yeah,
And the club is the creative writing club. Tuko pamoja, are we okay? Are we okay? Kuna
Yeah.
mtu anaongea? Sawa, okay. Okay, so we are saying that in this club, as the chairman, you are writing, you're writing, you'd like to assistance in publishing the winning entry in a recent competition. So you write a letter to the publisher asking them to consider the book for publication. Remember to write through the head teacher. Now, you must understand what the question is asking. So mulifanya competition, and then whatever you wrote, the book you wrote in that competition, you won. So you want a publishing house to assist you in publishing that book. That's what you're saying. You would like assistance in publishing the winning entry in a recent competition. Let me tell you, if you don't take time to understand what the question is asking, hata kama wewe uko the best, utapata marks za format, but za content utakuwa umeanguka sana. So you're asking the publisher to consider your book for publication. Remember to write through the head teacher. So you are being told in your letter, you must include the title of the book. Please, usiandike barua useme, we have a book and would want you to publish it for us. Alafu your story inaishia hapo. You need to tell us, you need to tell the publisher, we are hereby requesting that you publish for us the book by the title, this and this, and the author. Okay, then please give a brief description of what the book is about. Yeah, what does the book give? Like not really a synopsis as we know it, but give the general, like a summary of what the book is about, and then why is it important for the book to be published? Why is this important for you, for the book to be published? That should be found in the content. Okay, in your letter you should have that. And so we said in the format, remember, it must be a formal letter. Okay, remember, there is a place for forwarding the address. That address, you've been told you should write it through the head teacher. Ipatia through by the husumbua students sana, through the head teacher, through the principal, through the whatever, through that, through will make you lose a whole mark or two. Then there's reference. Reference need to mesema re, not ref. RE, colon, na unaandika na capital letters. It is the same as the topic or the subject. Then we have the body. That is what is capturing all those, the title of the book, the description, nini, then closure. We look forward. Always close your letter with, we look forward to hearing from you. We look forward for a favorable response. We look blah, blah, blah. There is closure. And finally, you are having a signing off. Signing off is the signature, pale chini. Yours faithfully, yours sincerely, yours something. You sign, and then the name of the person who has written, Martha Nganga. And then if I have a designation, I am the chairman of the creative club. Umeona hiyo catch? Unafaa kuandika, you are the chairman of the creative writing club. So pale chini, after umeandika your name, please write chairman, whatever. I hope you get that point. So on the content, we are saying the body must have the title and the name of the author, the synopsis of the winning book, and appeal for publication of formal request to Pulsion. Is that okay? What is to Pulsion? I don't know what that is. Yeah, so the content therefore has all those things. So I don't know whether in your head, sijui kama unaona venye hiyo barua inakaa. Unaona venye hiyo barua inakaa? Maybe one of these fine, I should ask you to do that later. Sorry, now that this has guided you, I think this is one of the questions we should do. Hii kwa sababu itakuwa imekuguide. Yeah, uko na content. Sasa wewe ndio utaandika hizo nini, utaandika the addresses, the punctuations, the content, you format that. Hiyo nitawapea kama assignment because naona kama hatuna English again this week. Sioni kama tuko na English again unless we are creating our own classes. which I don't think I'll be in a position to create venye schedules zinakaa, but hiyo nitakuwa part of the assignment. Please note that. Hiyo question 1, sample 1, hiyo 2007, writing the letter. Na mimi ujue nikipeana assignment, mimi sitakufuata kukuuliza kama umefanya. Ukikosa kufanya, unfortunately, that is your monkey. Itabidi udeal nayo. Ukifanya, unitupigie picha, unitumie, uniambie teacher nilifanya ile sample. Because this should even be very easy because already you are guided. We andika hiyo sample letter, borrow what you can borrow from this question, follow the guideline, alafu nitumie picha. Uniambie nimefanya, kindly mark for me. I want to promise you that this week, it is very hard for me to mark things because of the activities of enrolling the grade 10. But we andika, unitumie, bora uandike jina yako pale juu. Andika unitumie, I will mark for you and give you back feedback. I'll print it, mark it, and then send it back to you. That is how we begin. If you don't do it, mimi sitakufuata kukuuliza kwa nini umefanya, because each one of us tunajua kenye tunatafuta kwa hizi classes. So assignment nimeshapeana. Question 1, sample 1. Let's go to the next one. Ndio tujaribu kukava kadhaa. Let me go to the next one. And remember, if you have a question, I'll be very happy to hear your question. Feel free. Usigoje niulize kama uko na swali. Unmute or even type it down. And I'm hoping mtaniuliza swali kabla nimalize. Si vizuri niongee for 2 hours na hamjauliza swali. Just ask any question. Ndio pia nisikie important. At I'm answering the student. Hehe. That was meant to be a joke. Now let's look at sample 2. Now sample 2 is a question. Somebody was to read for us. Nani atusomea sample 2, please kindly? Mtu atusomee sample
Mwalimu,
2.
have a question before tuendelee.
Yes.
Now, hiyo question 1,
Mm.
unaona hizo vitu zenye unafaa kuandika kwa hiyo barua, like the purpose of the publication, the published nini nini, naandika kwa
Mm.
kila kitu kwa paragraph yake.
Remember the letter is not supposed to be very long, eh? In fact, kama hizi vitu zinafaa everything including the address inafaa kutoshea 1 page ya full scap. Hata haifai kuja. Kumbuka pale juu kuna PO box, I mean the sender's address, the receiver's address, salutation, reference, then the body, then signing off, yours faithfully or yours sincerely, name, signature, then name. Hizo vitu zote zinafaa kutoshea kwa hiyo paragraph, one side of the paragraph. So ukisema hii kwa body uandike kila kitu on their paragraph, it might be the letter, I don't know, depending on how big the paragraph is, kuna venye unaweza jikuta umeandika information that may not be very necessary. Unaweza amua like this and this inaweza kuwa kwa 1 paragraph, hiyo ya kusema the title and the author and the summary of the book iko hapo, okay? I mean the summary of the book. Then you can decide the other paragraph is for the appeal, yenye unasema kindly we humbly request that you whatever publish or whatever. That can be in a different paragraph. Ndio kazi yako isikae kama iko na paragraphs mingi, alafu hiyo ingine we're looking forward to a favorable response or something. Nako kana kuanga like a kalaini kamoja, just like 1 line or something like that. And so you can't have long paragraphs, na kuna ukiandika many paragraphs pia inakaa funny because it's a short one. So unaweza combine some, alafu you combine the other one, but then kuna zile lazima they stand out on their own. So wewe utapima tu uangalie. Hata hakuna mtu atakupenalize because of whatever you write, because we look at the content. It is not the format. Hizi vitu zuri za functional writings zinakwanga very straightforward. We are looking at the content. Have you talked about the author? Have you talked about the book? Have you talked the title of the book? Have you talked about this? Irrespective of how you've written it, unapata points zako. Is that question answered?
Yes, mwalimu, niko sawa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I am hoping that mtaandika hizo barua. By then mkiandika nitafurahi. Ukikosa kuandika pia nitafurahi because itakuwa na kazi ya kumark. So it is really up to you. Either way, I'll be happy. So me, I'm okay. Either way, I'll be very happy. All right. So somebody was to read for us. to read for us sample 2. Anybody?
Sample
Please read for us. Yes, sample 2.
sample 2. KCSE. The year is 2014. And it says, you have recently visited a schoolmate during the holiday and thoroughly enjoyed yourself. Write a letter to the schoolmate thanking him or her for the invitation. Describe the experience that made your stay memorable, and it's 20 marks. Format: this is a friendly letter. Address 1, mark 1, date 1 mark, and then salutation 1 mark, closing 1 mark, name 1 mark. Only one address is accepted. Is it?
Expected.
Said, and never use your faithfully. Never use yours faithfully in closing the tag, but yours sincerely is accepted. Content: greetings 1 mark, expressing thanks 1 mark, 3 memorable experience 6 marks, and into brackets each 2 marks.
All right. Yeah. 2 marks each. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Josephine. Now, if you look at that sample 2, this is a friendly letter. A friendly letter. You can see the difference. You've been asked that you have recently visited a schoolmate during the holidays and thoroughly enjoyed yourself. Write a letter to the schoolmate thanking him or her for the invitation. Describe the experience that made your stay memorable. And good to note, those are 20 marks. 20 marks for a letter. Hiyo barua lazima ikuwe ni kama composition. You must be very careful, because if you don't capture what is important, you will get 6 marks out of 20 or 7 out of 20. Na wengine kumbe wakiandika vizuri, they'll get very high marks. They'll get their 15 or 16. So number 1, this you're writing to your schoolmate. So this is not an official letter. This is a friendly letter, okay? And so it was during the holidays and you went to stay with them and you enjoyed. Like we said, you must understand what is the question asking. Then write a letter to the schoolmate thanking him or her for the invitation. And then so number 1, you're supposed to give thanks. I mean, as in to show gratitude. Thank you very much. So blah, blah, blah. Say thank you. Number 2, you are supposed to, and why are you saying thank you? You must also indicate for the invitation and the fact that they opened up their house for you and so on. The next thing is you're supposed to describe the experience that made the stay memorable. So you need to say how memorable it was and what made it memorable. So now, because this is a friendly letter, it is not an official letter. Yenye unafaa kuandika kakitu ka short, very short. So these friendly letters are a bit longer and you're allowed to make it long, but don't make it too long. Tunaandika full caps both sides. It's not necessary. But what you need to do is make sure that you have captured what is, because we don't mark the number of words. We don't mark the multitude of words. We mark the points. So unaweza andika tu just 1 page and you still score well, because in that 1 page umesema what you needed to say. Kuna mtu anaweza andika 2 full caps, I mean 1 full cap both sides, na bado ascore poorly, because wewe umeongea tu story mingi tu, lakini you not answered the question. So we are marking the points, not how many points, not how many words you've written, and so on. So we are told the address is 1 mark. But remember, haina 2 addresses because it is an informal letter. Then so PO box, whatever. Then you have a date. Then salutation. The salutation is dear Martha or dear Mercy or whatever. Please don't write dear friend. Just call them by name. Watu wenye unaenda kukaa kwao au ni beshte sana, so just write their names. Dear name, then after umeandika pale chini kuna closing. Na tumesema kwa closing, hapa you cannot write yours faithfully. You can only write yours sincerely. Why? Because we said in the other letter, you write yours sincerely when you call the person pale kwa salutation, dear Martha, dear John, dear Mr. Kyoko, dear whatever. The fact that you call them by name, you write yours sincerely. So hii barua friendly, it's always yours sincerely, not yours faithfully. Very good. And kwa content, give your greetings and then express thanks and then then 3 memorable experiences. Remember, because that's what the point is asking. Describe the experience that made your stay memorable. The only issue I see with this question, hakukuambia, how do you know you are supposed to write 3? Na ukiandika 1 or 2, how many marks watakupea marks ngapi? Aki siko sure. I need to find out because sasa hiyo inakaa kama inaweza kuwa unfair because haukuambiwa whether you are supposed to write how many memorable experience events that made it memorable anyway. But I hope you get the point. Tuko pamoja. Any questions so far? Naona we have 5 minutes. So I really want in those 5 minutes tupitie the next sample. Ndio nisiache anything hanging for now. Any question or any whatever? Well, did somebody write something? Yeah, 2 marks of each. Every memorable experience, 2 marks of each. The reason I'm having a problem with that is because there is no way of knowing as a student hizo marks wanazigawa aje, by the way, hapo kwa points, kwa content, lakini wewe andika tu and make sure that you do a good job. All right, somebody to read for us sample 3. Nikumalizia, tunamalizia sasa. Wachana na hii ni minutes. Wewe hatuwezi fanya minutes sahi. Me, I don't even feel like I want to do minutes. Honestly. Wakileta minutes wanaweza kosea sana. Hapana, sitaguza minutes. Tasikia ni kama ninakuwa wasted. Good. Wacha tupitie hii. Very, very good. Wacha tupitie hii. I think after this, let me see the last one. Hiyo ni a formal invitation. It's a social writing. An informal invitation. Let me see how the other one looks like. Okay. Wacha tupitie hii informal very fast. Haina story mengi, hatutaongea sana juu ya hii. Kuna nani atatusomea hii ya informal invitation? Somebody read for us this sample 4. Tumeachana na minutes. Sitaki
A
tufanye minutes
traveling
sahi,
data
nisikia
group
kama-
is staging a
Yes.
performance of one of the lecturer's set book, literature's set book in the local sub-county. Members of the drama club, the Form 3 students, and the Form 4 students would want to watch the performance. As a secretary of the drama club, write a letter to the principal asking for formal permission. In your letter, give details about who will attend, the date and the time of the performance, and the cost. You should also explain why the performance is important.
It's all right, go ahead.
Repeat again.
Read that again.
A traveling theatre group is staging a performance of one of the literature's set books in the sub-county. Members of the drama club, the Form 3 students, and the Form 4 students would want to watch the performance. As the secretary of the drama club, write a letter to the principal asking for formal permission. In your letter, give details about who will attend, the date, and the time of the performance and the cost. You should also explain why the performance is important. 20 marks.
Right, thank you very much. I wanted you to read again because sometimes when you read something for the round one, ni kama haiingiangi vizuri. Unasikia tu mavitu na ni kama kichwa inakata. But now when you read again and again and again, somehow that repetition helps it. But I just want to mention this very briefly. For example, in this question, a traveling theatre is staging a performance of one of the set books. And you know which set book we are talking about. Could be the Fathers, the Samaritan, or the Parliament, or whichever. Members of the drama club, the Form 3 students, and the Form 4 students would want to watch the performance. As the secretary of the drama club, write a letter to the principal asking for the formal permission. In your letter, give details about who will attend, the date, and the time of the performance and the cost. Now, listen. In this letter, this is a very interesting letter to write. You're writing the letter to the principal. So the address should be your address and then the address of the principal. There's a high possibility your addresses are the same, for example, but you must have both, whether the addresses are the same or not. Then you know the name of your principal. Your principal is not a stranger. So, for example, say, Dear Madam Nganga, because you know me as your principal. So, hawezi kuniita dear sir, dear madam, or dear sir, because I'm not a stranger. So, pale chini, tutandika yours faithfully. I mean, yours sincerely, okay? And then we have that part of, now, hiyo ndio format. Remember kuna ile part ningetaka sana to practice when you're writing these letters. Now, in the next lesson, tukiwind up on this, I'll want us to do a few samples. Ile naonanga ikisumbua students sana ni hiyo How do you write the title of that letter? Because it's a formal letter. How do you write the title of that letter? Unakuta hiyo title inaandikwa vibaya, hata haiwezi score mark. But remember, in the body, you're supposed to talk about those things. Number one, what is the objective, what is the importance of writing this letter? And so you are talking about the club, from the drama club, we are talking about this. We want you to give us permission to do this and this at this time, and so on. So there is so much to talk about. Even the cost of the book, who will be coming to, who will be attending, what is expected, hizo vitu zote. And remember, haifai kukua mrefu, unafaa kuandika in a very short way. And just so that we can finish up on that, mwenye alikuwa ametusomea hiyo ni nani ametusomea by the way? Marietta, is that how your name is pronounced? How do you pronounce your name?
Marietta.
Oh, unajua sasa me in my mother tongue naitangwa Martha, naitangwa Maritha. So wananitanga in the village they call me Maritha. So naona hii jina yako iko na vibes za kunipeleka kwenye my village name. So kindly read for us. Kuna hiyo nini, hiyo invitation nimezoom out, sijui kama utaiona vizuri or you can zoom out from your end. Hebu tusomee hiyo informal. Sasa hii ni informal. Hii ni informal kweli. Hebu tusomee tu. Write a
I
letter.
read the whole thing.
Yes, write a letter to your favorite footballer.
Okay. Write a letter to your favorite footballer inviting him or her for a charity concert to be held in your school. Indicate the purpose of the concert and any other information you consider important. PO Box 333 -034 Meru. Date 2nd October 2022. Dear John, Wello High School has organized a charity concert aimed to raise funds for the needy and vulnerable students in our school on Sunday, November 3rd, 2020, from 1 o'clock in the school compound. As my favorite footballer, I am kindly inviting you to attend this auspicious occasion. Your presence will motivate the students to embrace hard work, discipline, and integrity which are the major pre what, mwalimu?
Prolificite.
Pre what?
Just a minute. Let me see. Let me see that. Prerequisite.
Okay.
Prerequisite. Umeiona?
Yes. For a
Mhm.
bright
Go ahead.
future. We
Mhm.
look forward to your company. Yours sincerely, Kevin Kinyua, school captain.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate that. And now, I don't know why they have given this under informal invitation letter, because this is not really informal. This is not really informal. Looks like a formal letter. I don't know why it's been given the title of an informal letter. But if you look at this letter, I'm hoping you can see all those things, that the address, the salutation, the content, the signing off, yours sincerely, not yours faithfully, the name, Kevin Kenywa, and then the designation. Unakumbuka tulisema sasa hii haina signature, but sasa yours sincerely, signature, Kevin Kenywa, school captain. Now, I'm not very sure whether all this makes sense to you. And if you are asked to do some of these things, if you're able to just do them very comfortably. And guys, we need to end this class because we said it's a marathon, not a what? Marieta, ulisema ni? Ama ni nani aliniambia? Ni James aliniambia si sprint. Ulisema si sprint? Yes. It's a marathon. I want to end this class here. Na niseme sasa hiyo yenye tumesoma. Let me share the last screen, though I don't intend to talk about it, but I will share the rest of I'll share the entire document with you. Not the entire, what we have covered. Neo too. Oh, okay. I see why they are calling it informal, because of the addresses. Fine. I think the next time tutaipitia sahi hata sasa sahi hata sitaki kuongea zaidi hapo. I'm sure hata wherever you want to go. All right. Can we end the lesson there, guys? Tuseme it was nice. See you again.
Yes, mwalimu, I think tuko sawa.
Mm.
Yeah, we appreciate. We really appreciate.
You're most welcome. I'm happy that we can do this.
And
It makes me happy.
yeah. So
Okay.
have a good night, guys. See you tomorrow.
You know, a good night. All right. And then we remember to attempt. Wacha nione how self-driven we are. Mtu andike tu. Andike alafu anitumie. Andike anitumie, I will mark them for you. Sawa sawa. All right. Hao wengine wameshaenda kulala ama bado wako? Muko. Domi.
Teacher,
Uko?
here.
Josephine.
Yeah, I
Sawa
have
sawa. Umeshika kakitu ama zimepitia over your
no,
head?
no. Nimeshika most of the things, like everything actually.
Like
I've learned
okay.
and I think I have one question.
Okay.
And my question is out of this topic, but I really have that concern. And my concern is that I need someone to refer to after the lessons, and I don't have a book with me. Yeah. So, and it's a real, it's becoming a very big concern for me. Yeah.
Where do you stay?
I'm in UK.
You. Sasa wewe. Are you able to print documents?
I can.
If I
Yes.
send you some documents you can print, are you able to print them?
Yes, I can.
Because sasa hatuwezi zituma na matatu za kwenda nini za 2NK. Tumekutumia na matatu za 2NK.
Yeah.
Sasa I don't know, maybe what we could do because the rest of the students who are around, remember we said, as far as English is concerned, I encourage you to handle it per paper. Paper one, what is tested? Functional writings. So if you have something that has functional writings, unaona ile document niliwatumia ya functional writings. Sasa, don't overwhelm yourself with a textbook. Ati sasa lazima uone ukiwa na KLB form 1 book. In English, we don't do that. In English, sasa, you need something that can give you information about the functional writings. So if you're able to, I know the 85 pages could be a lot, yeah, but there is something else I can give you, some edited format of the same document. It may not be that heavy. It may not be that heavy. So that means some of these documents I'm sharing, you'll talk to me, I'll share some of those documents. Hata kama ni personal notes, some of them. I don't like sometimes sharing so much of those notes, like the whole document. But to share, you see the things we are sharing with you, especially, I don't know about the other subjects, but what I'm sharing with you, if you print those ones and use them, most of them will sort you out. The other subjects could have a different approach. You can talk to the other subjects and hear what they have to say. But in English, have something on functional writings, all the functional writings. And I think the document I sent you with 85 pages has got all of them. I have I have an edited format of the same. Those books, for those who are around here, we've packaged them into a booklet, a booklet, kadogo. We call them the pocket size, and it goes for 150 shillings. Sasa kama, by the way, if by any chance you have someone who is coming to where you are, someone who is traveling to where you are and who's mtaonana at some point, unaweza niambia so that we can package some things and send you. Those two booklets, they are very good. I will post them in the group. I think, wacha nimalizane na story mingi za kazi. I will post them. Some of them, they are very helpful because what they do, they cut you a lot of unnecessary information. They take you straight to what most of the things that you need. But for English, I think will guide you in paper one. Sasa the next document you need is on oral skills. And we said oral skills is broad. There is a book we use. Even my colleagues use it in class. Just a pocket size, but our book can cover everything on oral skills, like everything. Ukikasoma ukiwa serious, like paper one uko sawa. Ukiwa na hiyo functional writings, na oral skills uko sawa. You get, eh? So when it comes to paper two, sasa tunaenda hivyo tukizinini. What do you have on excerpts? I send you excerpts and the answers, you know? Or I send you the excerpts, wewe unafanya, unanitumia, ninakumakia. You get? So the next question is on poetry. Na kutumia poems, unasoma, ni notes, you know, you get the point, eh? So don't overwhelm yourself. Don't make you feel overwhelmed that hauna vitabu. Don't remove the mentality of, I must have a whole one book I'm reading.
Okay, you know, it's like
Mhm.
okay, in cases of like, you see, subjects like chemistry, biology, you have to refer, because you see, like
Yes.
in the last topic we had, and then I mean, it could be easier for me had I been having the book to refer and afterwards.
Okay.
You see?
Let me ask you, if I get you like even for the rest of the students, I have mathematics book 1, 2, 3, and 4 on soft copy. If I send you on soft copy and tunakwambia kesho tunaangalia this topic, so you can even read in advance.
Yeah,
it's soft. Would that help? Will that help?
It will. Although
because
I'll be available.
Sorry?
I see. I'm not sure that I'll be available every single day because again, working, you see, and that is why it's so important for me to have the books, because even if I attend the class, I can go through the books and then I listen
and the things.
It will help.
No problem. I hear you. I think what I'll do, wacha niwatafutie vitabu hizo soft copies. I'll look for all the subjects, especially the maths niko nazo. I can even post them tonight. Sciences najua nitazipata. Chemistry I had them somewhere, ni venye for some time I have not bothered with them. I have them. Even quite a number of people here have them. We can post them, just the books, just the course books. I don't like when a wall is overcrowded by so many unnecessary things. I feel I get overwhelmed, so sometimes I like regulated posting, but wacha tutafute soft copies of the textbooks, then tutapost, and then you can inbox me if there's something that you really really need, then I will see what I can do. Sawa sawa.
Okay.
Yes, don't worry, we are in this together. We'll go up to the end of it and we'll be fine.
Can I also ask one more question?
No problem.
As we are revising together,
Mm.
does this mean that we are going to sit for the exam together? Like, is it a whole class yenye tutafanya exam together, or mtu anajitafutia center yake?
Yes, we had said, okay, like I had said, maybe you're not in for the introduction session.
Yeah.
As a school, as a focus online school, we don't register students for the exams. We don't have a center. We don't even do that. So we always encourage, because we get people from all over. So our students are not in one geographical location. So we can't tell you, you come to Kiambu, you come to Roiro, you come to Kamboi Girls, fanyie exam in that neighborhood, because people are all over. So me, I always say, wewe kwenye you are near your home place, or where you are working, or where you live, find a place where it's convenient for you. Then using the sub-county office or the county offices, register an exam there as a private candidate. And then sasa sisi tukufundishe wewe ufanye registration. But I always say, in case you are stranded, or like now you see the way you are out of the country, we can always assist. Like there are 2 or 3 of us that I'm supposed to assist when time comes. Poto ikifunguliwa, one of them is in Thika, itabidi nifuatilie ndio I help her register because she's out of the country. So huyo nitamsaidia because she's out, because she will not be here by the time the exam is being registered. You see, so on request. But wale wengine tuko huku, me I like when people register for themselves, because it's also a lot of work. Na mimi sitakangi hiyo kazi mingi hivyo, because I already have so much I'm dealing with. Wacha mimi niachwe na ya kuwafundisha. But if somebody really needs help, like really really needing help or advice, or someone to intervene, uko na challenges somewhere, I will always step through, maybe refer you to someone in that office, or just I talk to a friend of a friend of a friend who will probably help you. So don't worry. So you will tell me, tutaongea kwa inbox, uniambie where you need the exam, where you'd want to sit for your exam. Unajua kuna wengine wanafanya this year in this class, na kuna wengine wanafanya 2027. So kila mtu na shughuli zake. Kusoma ndio tunasoma pamoja, alafu kila mtu anajisort. But I know in the discussion we had, we were saying kama tunaweza pata shule kwenye tunaweza register badala ya register as private candidates, that would be a better. But don't worry, but report fungulia tuanze mind. Sawa sawa.
Okay.
I hope all your questions are answered. If you have another question, pia utaweza kuja kwa inbox, tutaongea hapo. Sawa sawa.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Hata hawajaenda bado, hawa wame to keep count as we talk about personal things. All right, thank you. Good night, good people. See you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning we have what? What do we have tomorrow morning? Nani ameona tomorrow tuko na nini?
Chemistry.
Sorry, chemistry. All right. Tung'ang'ane. Najua chemistry naweza wakalia tu, lakini mtu ang'ang'ane tu, ingia tu kwa hiyo class usome, sikiza tu venye mwalimu anasema. Madam Phoebe is very patient, by the way. Ukisikia hujaelewa kitu, mwambie akiti chapo, rudia. She has no problem. Always ng'ang'ana tu. Chemistry naona venye mnapambana, pambaneni tu. You'll be okay. And all the best. Good night and say hi to your families. See you tomorrow morning.
Good night. Naisha mimi naisha. Tuko na kademka plus 44 ni US. Plus 44. Can't record 44.